and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about some advice on studying throughout the whole school year when you are a busy student. This can apply to people in high school as well as people at university. This is something that I've definitely struggled with the past year at university, finding the time to study throughout the week because my timetable has been all over the place and I travel to university, so that takes up a lot of time. With that, I didn't have much time to actually do some studying when I got home and so on, so I thought I would share some advice on finding the time to study and just how you can find more time to study when you have a busy timetable, whether that be if you're in high school and you have a lot of clubs after school going on, or at university and your timetable is also hectic, or I don't know, you are studying outside of normal hours. So here where I study, people can study in the evenings and on the weekends, so I thought I'd share some advice on finding the time to study. So the first bit of advice is to figure out a planning system, whether that be a timetable or a planner or a calendar, any format of keeping yourself organized, using a planner to keep track of all your extra activities such as clubs and meetings or part-time job, and just detailing your whole week in your planner or calendar, whichever one you find more useful. This way you can see your whole week, even month, if you use a monthly calendar or a monthly planner. It's just more easy to see what you've got going on and you can keep yourself organized, so it takes off the stress and worry of not knowing what you're going to do tomorrow and so on, and then you can see any gaps that you have that you can use for studying or for homework or planning out your time according to your busy schedule so that it's suitable for you. Use all free time that you have to do your homework. But saying that, don't use all your free time for studying and for homework. Also use that time to take a break or do things that you love or seeing your friends or your family. So don't make all your free time just studying. By this I mean times such as when you're waiting for the bus, you could do some revision while you're waiting for the bus or you're waiting for the train, or even on the bus, on the train, you could do some studying then. At sixth form, and in England, if you go to sixth form or college, you will most likely have free lessons. Use those times wisely so that you can do all your homework during those times, and then when you get home, you don't have to worry about getting the homework done. Also, do your homework as soon as possible, so don't leave everything to the last minute. Also, don't leave all your homework for the weekends because something might come up unexpectedly and then you don't have the time to do this homework and it makes you stressed and worrying that could be avoided. Kind of mentioning the planning again, set aside a time where you just do schoolwork and a time where you don't do schoolwork. So by this I mean set a day for catching up on all your schoolwork and a day for relaxing, for example. So for me that would be Saturdays would be my schoolwork day and Sundays would be my relaxing day. So if I had no time in the week to do any revision, any schoolwork, I would usually spend my Saturday catching up on anything that I didn't do or I didn't have time to do, such as rewriting lectures or revising, but not like a week before the exam. This is just like throughout the whole school year. And then Sundays would be my non-school related day, so it would be a day where I go outside or I go and see family or I just sit and read for the whole day. That's what Sundays are for anyway, so the thought of doing work on a Sunday not during exam time is not a very good thought. I try to avoid that as much as possible. Also for me, I do English tutoring, so I do that during the week, but sometimes I had to do that on a Saturday, so that kind of also collided with my schoolwork day. So that's why planning is important, because your plans could change last minute and then your whole timetable is messed up. So if you plan in advance, it helps you to deal with situations like that. Again, this kind of links to the previous point, but try to get all your homework done before the weekend, or at least try to get as much of it done as quickly as possible before the weekend, or like leave yourself like 2 things to do over the weekend. It just leaves you more time, and you never know how long it's going to take you to do something. So if you think this piece of homework is only going to take me 1 day, and then that isn't the case, if you leave it for the weekend and it takes you longer than you have the time for during the weekend, then it kind of again messes up your timetable. You might run out of time and so on. That's why it's best to get majority of your work done before the weekend. Obviously, if that's possible, it also depends on your schedule and so on. The last bit of advice is kind of like a reminder not to overwork yourself and not to have so much going on that you can't cope with the amount of work that you have. So if you have a part-time job and you want to work as many hours as you can over the weekend, that is okay, as long as you plan out your time accordingly and you're putting in enough work with your schoolwork or other things that interest you. Don't make work a priority, and if it gets too much, like if you're working too much and you're starting to see that you can't cope with all the things going on at once, don't be afraid to drop something. So whether that be, I'm gonna work only 3 hours on a Saturday and a Sunday instead of working 6 hours every Saturday and Sunday, or I'm only going to work on Saturdays and I'm going to ask for Sundays off. Or for example, for me with my tutoring, I try to take on a limited amount of people because I know that I won't have time to tutor children every single day, because that just won't work my timetable. Think about your priorities and what is important to you, and just so that you're not overworking yourself and you're not stressing too much, because the added stress is not worth it, and if it affects you in a negative way, then it's not worth it. And that's kind of all that I wanted to talk about in this video, just some advice for being a busy student or being a busy person and managing everything all at once. There's probably other advice that I haven't mentioned. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful to some people, and that will be all for this video, so thank you for watching.